He entered the room and the chaos struck first. Voices clashing, ideas thrown like knives. People moving, gesturing, leaning forward as if energy alone could win. He did nothing. Not because he lacked energy, not because he was intimidated, because he had already understood a truth most never see. Motion without purpose is weakness. Stillness is intelligence. The room had power in its noise. Everyone assumed speed was strength. Everyone assumed talking first gave control. They were wrong. He sat back straight, hands resting lightly on the table, eyes scanning, absorbing. Every subtle cue mattered. Every pause was a data point. Some leaned forward, eager to impress. Some spoke quickly, trying to outrun thought. Some hesitated, unsure whether to commit. He noticed it all, and he noticed what others did not. In haste, people always reveal more than they intend. The first voice tried to dominate. Words poured out like water through a broken dam. Every explanation, every justification, every addition only exposed uncertainty. He made no move. He did not interject. He did not react. Because silence is not emptiness. Silence is pressure. Silence is intelligence in motion. In the moments of pause, patterns emerged. Who led? Who followed? Who lied? Who flinched? Who calculated? Everything that mattered lay not in what was said, but in what was unsaid. Years ago, he had learned this lesson long before this room, not from books, not from teachings, from watching life itself, from observing quiet men calm under pressure, letting the world speak while they listened, from noticing how often the world's loudest players were the most fragile. Stillness is a form of intelligence. It is not about hiding. It is about observing, calculating, and allowing the right moment to act. He remembered his first encounter with this principle. He was young, eager, impatient. He spoke quickly, explained too much, justified every thought. Every word given away was energy lost. Every motion betrayed his uncertainty. And yet he learned not from failure but from watching another. A quiet man, calm, unassuming, who let the world reveal itself. That man never rushed, never reacted hastily. The outcomes always aligned in his favour. The room shifted subtly. Another voice tried to cut through the silence. He allowed them to continue. Not a muscle moved in his posture. He breathed slowly. He was present, and presence carries weight heavier than words. He observed the micro-changes, a foot tapping nervously, hands clenching, eyes darting. The more people spoke, the more their insecurities bled through. Their haste revealed their priorities, their fears, their weaknesses. He didn't need to speak. He only needed to be still, and stillness did the work. This principle is timeless. In negotiation rooms across Asia, in martial arts dojos, in battlefields of life, those who speak first rarely command respect. Those who move first rarely control outcomes. He leaned back slightly, a subtle nod to acknowledge someone's point. Nothing more, and yet that slight movement altered the room's rhythm. Attention gravitated toward him. Now others spoke with caution. Now words were measured. Silence had reset the energy. Silence had transferred control. In martial arts, he had seen this lesson applied physically. The master would say nothing. The student would strike, misstep, strike again. Repetition, observation, correction born of awareness, not instruction. The student learned not from the teacher's voice, but from the stillness between movements. Silence accelerates understanding. Presence amplifies learning. Stillness sharpens the mind. In business, in life, the same principle applied. People rushed decisions. They spoke to feel safe. They explained to convince. They justified to appear competent. But in doing so, they revealed everything the quiet observer needed to see. He watched one executive fumble through a proposal, words tumbling in disarray, voice rising then dropping, hesitation, overcompensation, panic disguised as confidence, and all the while he sat, still, calm, collecting insights that no explanation could ever teach. Some might call it manipulation. He did not. It was simply the intelligence of restraint, the power of observing before acting. He remembered another lesson from life. Those who cannot endure quiet, who cannot sit in stillness, will always surrender control to those who can. He breathed. One slow inhale, one controlled exhale. Not a thought wasted. not a reaction forced. His mind was alive yet composed. He was present in every fraction of a second. The conversation ebbed and flowed. Attempts to impress faltered. Explanations grew longer, less precise. The loudest voice was always the first to falter, and when the silence returned, heavier each time it drew attention, authority, power. He finally spoke, just a few words, a sentence that landed like a stone in still water. No emotion, no urgency, no excess. The room shifted. Nothing overt, everything transformed. Because Stillness had already done the heavy lifting. He recalled moments from life outside the negotiation room, moments where rushing, reacting, explaining had cost him, moments where patience, observation, and quiet action had brought clarity and opportunity. Every victory, every insight, every lesson came not from speaking first, but from mastering the internal rhythm before the external world demanded it. In relationships, he saw it again. People eager to prove themselves, rushing to be understood. Those who waited, who listened, who observed, noticed patterns others could not. They responded with precision, timing, presence. They did not need to dominate conversations, they commanded them. In life, mastery is subtle. It is not loud. It does not announce itself. It is the quiet force that shapes outcomes before action begins. And this force, unlike energy spent explaining, is never depleted. He thought about time. Time magnifies stillness. The patient observe. The impatient exhaust themselves. Those who act without reflection leave gaps, and gaps are always exploited. Those who wait see openings appear without effort. Stillness is not passive. It is anticipation made visible. The people around him were now cautious. Even those who had tried to dominate adjusted unconsciously. The quiet observer had set a rhythm they could not ignore. Presence had shifted the landscape. No words could undo it. He remembered the first time he noticed this pattern outside work, in a dojo, in a street negotiation, in a simple conversation where someone spoke too quickly. The outcome always favoured the one who could endure the quiet. Stillness is intelligence. It is energy preserved, observation maximised, action refined. It is a skill cultivated, not a tactic improvised. And it is rare, because most cannot tolerate its weight. He leaned forward slightly, this time a deliberate measured movement, one that carried intent, not reaction. It was enough. The room adjusted, outcomes aligned, no explanation required, and he thought, quietly to himself, those who cannot sit in stillness, who cannot endure the silence of thought, will always be dictated by the impatience of others. He rose. The meeting concluded. Nothing dramatic had occurred. No raised voices, no long arguments. And yet, everything had shifted. Control, respect, clarity, all had been secured. Because stillness is not absence. It is mastery, presence, timing, awareness. He walked out, leaving behind those who had tried to overwhelm with noise. And in their absence, the lesson remained. Intelligence is often quiet. The strongest moves are often the ones never rushed, and the world bends to those who can wait, who can observe, who can endure stillness. He stepped outside. The city buzzed around him. Voices, motion, chaos. He moved calmly through it all, because inside he had already mastered the rhythm. Inside he was still. Stillness, he realized, is the sharpest intelligence of all.